Hi, so in this video we are going to look at probability. Okay, so maybe you've heard probability before, and what it is to do with is the likelihood of an event occurring. So maybe in the past you described something as being likely to happen or unlikely to happen or definitely going to happen or definitely not going to happen, and that's a good way of expressing things in general, but this is maths. So we need to start thinking about a numerical way of describing probability. So for example, right now it is almost raining while I'm videoing this, so that is a fairly likely chance that something is going to rain at some point in Scotland, but it's not really accurate enough for us. Okay? So what we can do is we can turn the likelihood of something happening into a fraction, and then it allows us to measure how specifically likely something is to happen. And the way that we do this is we have the number of favourable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. And from that, we can get two conditions on probability, an start point and an end point. There's a maximum value for probability and there's a minimum value for probability. So if I have something that is never going to happen, it's absolutely not possible, then the lowest probability we can have is 0. Because if it's never going to happen, there are no favourable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes, and 0 divided by anything is 0. The highest probability we could have is 1. If your chance of that happening is equal to the total, so the number of favourable outcomes is equal to the total number of outcomes, then you're just dividing the same number by itself, and any number divided by itself is 1. So if you calculate a probability and you get anything outside of 0 and 1, then you've made a mistake somewhere. But any value between 0 and 1 is an accurate probability, or is an acceptable probability. So if you looked at this examples, calculate the probability of flipping a coin and it landing on heads. So you imagine a coin has two sides, and we want it to land on heads. So the number of favourable outcomes is there's only one side of that coin which is heads, and there's two sides in total. So the probability of flipping a coin and it landing on heads is 1/2, or a half. Or if you had it as a decimal, 0.5, or if you had it as a percentage, 50%. So if you flip a coin, you've got 50% chance of it landing on heads. Okay? So if we looked at a different version, the probability of rolling a 6-sided die, which is a singular of dice, so it's one of those dice, and we want to roll a 6. Okay? So the number of sides, panels of a die that is 6 is only 1, and there are 6 in total, so the probability of it being 6 when you roll a die is it's going to be 1/6. And again, you could convert that into a decimal or percentage if you wanted to. Rolling an even number, now let's think how many even numbers are between 1 and 6. So we've got 2, 4 and 6. So there's 3 even numbers between 1 and 6. So we get 3 chances of winning divided by 6 chances in total. And if you look here, 3 out of 6 is a fraction that can simplify to 1/2. So you've got half, you've got 50% chance, or 1/2 chance of you rolling a die and it being even. Lastly, let's look at rolling a prime number. So if you can't remember what a prime number is, it's okay. Prime number has only 2 factors. So the prime numbers between 1 and 6 are 2, 3, 5, and that's the only ones. So it ends up being 3 out of 6, again, which is 1 out of 2. Okay? So when you're looking at calculating probability, it's the number of favourable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. Another option could be if you're looking at a pack of cards, there's 52 cards in that one pack. And if you want to get one specific card out of that 52, then it's going to be 1 out of 52 chance. Okay? So all you need to remember is number of favourable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes, and just always make sure that you check to see whether or not you can simplify your fractions. Okay? So that's probability.